Oh, God. I feel good. Alright, let's go. Hey, what's up, you guys? Loco here. For you today, I have Teamliquid versus Immortals. It is the debut of Broxah in LCS, debut of Broxah finally with Teamliquid, and we're gonna get to see what their starting five looks like. I was actually really surprised by this match. I think TL just repeated a lot of the same old mistakes that they were having with Sharonfire, and they didn't really lean into having Broxah. And also, Immortals, I have to give credit to them. I know they've been picking up wins, but some of their wins looked really shaky, but this one really solidified themselves as an intelligent team that's making really good decisions and just smart. That's how I want to describe Immortals, smart. I don't think they have the best players, I don't think they have the best fingers. They draft well, they play the draft very smartly, and yeah, they don't make that much dumb mistakes. So, without any further ado, let's get right into the draft portion of the recap. So, what do we have here? As always, let's start with the bans. Immortals banning out Aphelios and Xayah. It's an open secret that everybody in the LCS knows. Doublelift cannot play anything but Aphelios and Xayah right now. So, nice bans. And also, the Aatrox ban is actually pretty intelligent too. I think its impacts go to blind along with Ornn. And Soaz was planning to play Gangplank this game, and they know the Aatrox versus Gangplank matchup can be very dicey in North America. So that Aatrox ban actually does a lot of things. It protects Soaz from getting counterpicked by Impact, and also it takes away one of Impact's best champions. Teamliquid going with Set, Syndra, and Misfortune. I think Syndra ban is a sniper ban towards Ica. Misfortune, also just a decent ban in the meta and something Altic likes playing. And Set, it's just a really strong champion in North America, and people don't play versus it that well. Now, they lead with Ornn first pick, pretty normal, and also a very strong champion in the meta. And Immortals replying with GP. And then this is where things get really weird. Kalista Taric. I like the Kalista into Ezreal. That's always been a good pick into Ezreal, but I just don't think Kalista is that strong in the meta right now. She is, interesting. I think this is TL's way of playing towards bot lane and kind of really forcing the situation. And Taric pairs nicely with Kalista. They both have defensive tools that they can save each other with, and is also really strong in teamfights. But yeah, I just don't really believe in Kalista Taric in the current meta right now. I love the Nautilus follow-up from Immortals. Nautilus, incredibly good champion against Kalista. She's a champion that's very strong due to her mobility, and Nautilus, a meta champion right now that has point-and-click CC, so what more can you ask? I actually think the last picks were really weird from Teamliquid, so we can talk about it. Xmithie leads with his Sejuani pick. I mean, it's a classic Xmithie pick. One of his signature, actually. He was known for being a terrible Sejuani because he missed that one ult where he shot it backwards. And then he played a lot of Sejuani during his 2-year time on TL, and they got so much wins with it. And also, Sejuani was recently buffed on 10.3, that's why Xmithie is picking it here. And Broxah, just give me Lee Sin, my dude. So Dodo, Teamliquid assistant coach, talked about it in an interview right after the draft was done, but Broxah said, just pick me Lee Sin and I'll win. So yeah, that's why TL's going with Lee Sin in this comp. And the Rise pick. I actually think the Rise pick is a little bit problematic too. I think there's a lot better mages to be blinding. I know Perks from G2 also blinds Rise, but G2 is a different monster altogether, and they'll find creative ways to use the Rise. Where I feel like in North America, champions like Orianna and Syndra are just much better blinds. I know the Syndra is banned, but yeah, the Rise pick here means that they're going to have to split push a lot, something that TL hasn't been particularly good at. And also, while Rise Lee Sin is a strong duo, it is something actually very counterable. I think Rise has a hard time versus Syndra. He also has a hard time versus Cassio. The Cassio matchup's at least a little bit more skill dependent, and having Lee Sin on it definitely helps. But I do think Jensen is an excellent Orianna player, and then just going Ori here was completely acceptable and fine. So Immortals finishing up with Cassio, great pick into Rise, and also Cassio really nice here. Cassio into Lee Sin and Kalista. Two really mobile champions. Cassio into Ornn, also a not bad one either. Cassio into Rise, just a good one in terms of matchup. So overall, really like the Cassio pick. So yeah, here you have the draft. So one thing I'm really worried when I'm looking at the overall two drafts is Teamliquid actually has a much weaker backline than Immortals does. Kalista Rise is not that strong of a backline. And when you look on the Immortals side, Ezreal, Gangplank, Cassio, these trio are such a strong backline, and they're going to be able to melt TL's frontline of Ornn, Taric, and Lee Sin much faster than TL's going to be able to melt the Nautilus, Sejuani. So not in a great situation in terms of how the two drafts are going to play against each other. TL does have a slight flavor in split push with the Rise, and it's going to be very important. The Rise is strong, and the Rise is able to maintain his lead and stay ahead on tempo, and it's a constant split push pressure because, yeah, when it comes to 5v5 team fight, I really don't see how TL is going to come out ahead. So let's get started with the gameplay. So the first play I have for you is Xmithie's defense versus Broxah's invade. So Broxah did 3 camps and is going to try to invade Xmithie. Sejuani is actually really weak on her first clear, and Lee Sin's really strong early game, so he wants to abuse that fact and invade onto Seju. But Xmithie and Hakuo read it, placed a ward, and Broxah should know the Gromp is dead. I'm not sure why he's walking in. Hakuo's always going to get there first, and yeah, he's going to get CC locked and deleted. Just very strange from Broxah, almost troll-esque. And yeah, this is actually going to be huge in terms of how the early games are going to play out, because Sejuani is a way better scaler, and as I said, her first clear is weak, and once she can get past her first clear, she's actually pretty safe, and yeah, she's going to have a great first clear. Yeah, Broxah, you can see, has vision, and he sees the Gromp die, and he's still going to walk in here. He's just, I don't know, his brain stopped working for a second, and he's going to get insta-give. Yikes. So now we're going to have a counter invade from Immortals. This is when Xmithie is level 6, Broxah is still level 5, and also GP has a good matchup into Ornn in the early game, so he's going to have priority. And they're going to be able to walk in here, and it's really hard for TL to start a fight. 1, they don't have the vision, and 2, checking into a Sejuani with ultimate while none of your champions have cleanse or particularly are tanky is really scary. So really nicely done from Immortals. This is what I really like about this team. They're intelligent. They're smart. Now, we're going to get the game coming out of a pause. Doublelift recognizes he hits level 6 before Immortals duo did, and he's able to burn Altix Flash. But Immortals starting Herald up on the other side of the map, and while TL is going to be able to get Air Drake, you guys should know by now, Herald is so important and so much stronger than what it was before. Even though the first Herald is weaker, listen up, because the plates are much tankier, right? And Herald does true damage. So even though Herald itself got nerfed, the Herald itself is more valuable due to the context of what it's being used for. So yeah, we're going to actually see Immortals use Herald early on top side of the map. Just helping Soaz, making sure you're getting a lot of gold on him. This feels so nice to GP. Having that jungle help, having that blue invade, getting that early Herald, and getting all those plating feels so nice, man. And yeah, TL able to trade it for Air Drake and some bottom control and blue buff, but yeah, Immortals coming out ahead in this trade. Faux show. Now we see Xmithie face checking into Doublelift and Core JJ. Luckily, he's a Sejuani and he was able to flash and Q out, but also watch what Hakuo does here. He reads that Doublelift's going to hop over the wall, get separated from Core JJ. They're able to go on and immediately CC locked and instigate before the Taric ult can come down. Just a brilliant read from Hakuo. So nicely done. This guy is one of the most underrated supports. I think Hakuo always goes from, my god, he's so good, to my god, everyone's underrating him, because he never really does interviews. Like, he doesn't really tweet that much, and he's not that flashy of a player, but very solid all around. So this is where I feel like Xmithie is really missed on Teamliquid. You can see Immortals diving topside, and Broxah is going to be nowhere near. Should Impact have just backed away from this? Definitely yes, but I think when they had Xmithie, this kind of situation just happened a lot less because he knew exactly what was going on around the map, and he was in the right place at the right time. And also, they just didn't fall behind as much. So yeah, nicely done from Immortals once again. You can see both teams grouping up now that we have Dragon coming up in about 2 seconds. Both trying to control for mid priority. Core JJ going for a ward. Xmithie going in and punishing. But yeah, it's a Taric with Aftershock. That champion is going to be giga tanky. Not really happening. Now, Immortals able to start up Dragon. They have full control. And TL just going to have to reply by taking top turret. Not the best right here. Because Immortals going to lead with pushing bot. They can also threaten mid turret. The mid turret is extremely low from them using the second Herald on it earlier. And yeah, the Rise is going to be pretty slow in terms of taking turret. So Immortals is collecting farm on both sides of the map. And also because they have the game plank, oh, his ult is down, never mind. But normally in this situation, GP can also ult top and make sure the turret is staying up longer. You can see how much more pressure Immortals is having on rest of the map than TL is. Why TL is able to kind of do this and not really care about what's going on is the Ryze pick. Do you guys remember in the Dignitas versus Teamliquid game where Jensen was playing Ryze versus Huni's Gangplank? So Impact just using ult to clear the wave there. He didn't miss it on anything. He's just trying to clear the wave, make sure the turret just stays up longer. But yeah, going back onto my Ryze point regarding Jensen and why TL is making this trade even though they're losing across the map is, if they can get Ryze strong enough, he can side lane versus the Cassio, he can side lane versus the GP, and he can be a win condition on his own. So that's what TL is really going for. Make sure Jensen can get strong, so later on, that Jensen is able to 1v1 pretty much anyone on the map. And that is, yeah, they're pretty much only win condition because they're not going to be able to win team fights anymore. And that's exactly what we have going on here. Ryze in a side lane, rest of TL being defensive as possible. You can see Impact's the only one that's actually walking up because he's so incredibly tanky as a Warren, and people can't really kill him. Still having to flash out. If he got hooked there, it actually would have been really dangerous. But rest of TL is just trying to buy time, let Ryze split push, and don't let Immortals start Baron. Immortals recognizing that's exactly what TL is doing. They're just trying to buy time for the Ryze to split push. So they start Baron right away and force TL into a situation. Are you going to come fight us? Or are you going to give us Baron for free? We can see Baron at about 4.5k. Rest of Immortals walking up. But yeah, Nautilus is just so tanky and Immortals has so much backline damage. I mean, the Taric ult did buy time, but the problem is, even though Taric ult gives invulnerability, all these melee supports, I feel like already have invulnerability in a sense due to Stoneplate plus Aftershock. Those two just makes the support so incredibly tanky. So Immortals able to kill Double Lift, able to kill Core JJ, and now turning and TL, yeah, they used Jensen ult there, not because they were going to port into Baron, but for vision. What they're doing is telling Teamliquid, hey, we might be on Baron. Hey, we have a Cassio. We can do Baron really, really fast. You guys have to be scared of this. And TL kind of has to check in and kind of has to make sure that Immortals actually isn't doing Baron, because if they are doing Baron and they just maintain that distance, then they ended up giving Baron for free. It's a catch-22 situation. This is how teams really balloon their lead, by using Baron to force fights or taking the Baron itself and taking down multiple turrets and an inhibitor. And Immortals finally able to get that Baron, and they're going to reset and get on with sieging. Immortals were able to pick up a lot of turrets with the Baron, and now they're going to be pushing straight down mid lane. You can see Teamliquid still in the same situation they were before. Hey, you four, keep defending. I'm going to try to split as a Ryze and beat the GP and make a win condition out of myself. And they're going to show in the mini screen here, yeah, the Ryze going for the GP. Soaz actually turning. Oh, you guys can't actually see it that clearly because of my webcam, but Soaz did a good job of burning Jensen's flash and not getting 1v1 and holding turret. That's all he needed to do, as the rest of his team took out the mid turret, took out the mid inhibitor turret and the mid inhibitor. Immortals just playing by the book Baron control. Now, Baron ended, but Immortals is still going on with their 4-1 split push. And there's a lot of great completed items. The Cassio has her Seraph, Leandri's, Voice Staff, and also Needlessly Large Rod. Ooh, Broxah went in for the insect, but a really nice flash from Ica. And yeah, TL cannot win this straight up team fight. They just cannot. There's just no way, no how. Immortals has way too much backline damage in Cassio and Ezreal, and the Sejuani is so tanky. I mean, GP is also part of the backline damage, and as we talked about, supports are god tier tanks in this meta, and Nautilus is really tanky too. So Immortals gonna be able to kill off Double Lift and Broxah there. The one chance that TL had in the fight was probably insecting the Cassio and insta-giving her, but that didn't happen. Now Immortals gonna be able to pick up their second inhibitor, and yeah, things are looking really grim for TL. We have the second Baron spawned, and TL is left in another really shitty situation. They have Ryze split pushing again, but Immortals, they can start Baron, they can engage on TL, looks like that's what they're doing. They started the fight on Core JJ, Double Lift forced to use ult. You can see how much damage Double Lift took. Like, he didn't really get hit by anything other than like Ezreal Qs and like random ass Nautilus damage, but still, he was almost down to 1/4 HP, still able to lifesteal it back because he's a Callista. And because Immortals kind of botched their engage and they weren't able to kill any targets, they used most of their engage on Core JJ, but he got sucked in by Double's ult, so he was safe. Now they're the ones actually forced to back off. But Sejuani gonna heal up everything with her Warmogs. So will Cassio due to her Twin Fangs giving her lifesteal when she's using it on poison target. And Soaz just ate an orange and it's okay. And now both teams are back to square one. But TL's missing a lot of crucial ultimates though. No Ornn ult, no Kalista ult, no Taric ult, and Immortals can just use Baron again. And the really big thing is Ryze TP to the fight, and he gave up a lot of the tempo that he was buying by being bot lane and split pushing. And when TL has to check in through this small choke versus an Ezreal who's shooting Qs, it is so hard to do. Impact actually, you can see, is taking a lot of damage just from the Ezreal Qs. And yeah, no one could actually go into the Baron pit. Rest of Immortals did such a great job at buying time. And now they're going to turn on this fight. Ooh, really nice hook there. Ezreal going aggressive. I mean, TL's dead. TL's screwed here. Doublelift is dead. Jensen's really low. The carries can't really fight. Woof! The Ezreal damage. I mean, they can just walk down mid. Yeah, let's walk. Ezreal looking for vision. He's going to look for EQ. Ooh, that GP ult. Oh, Core dead. Jensen dead. And that's game. That's how the cookie crumbles. So overall, good showing from Immortals. Exactly what I talked about in the pregame. Intelligent drafting. No real big outplays. Maybe the one big outplay was the Cassiopeia flashing out of the Lee Sin insect. But that was more of a prediction than an outplay. Whatever. We don't have to get too technical. But yeah, this is a team of a lot of veterans just making good decisions. And Xmithie showing once again why he is a top tier jungler and telling his old team, screw you guys, I can beat you guys without all these all-stars. And also props to Zabatine and Keaton, the head coach and the GM of this team. They actually are doing much better with this roster than I thought they would. As for Teamliquid, I don't know what you guys are doing. You guys picked up Broxah and you guys aren't really leaning into the mid-jungle 2v2 as heavily. I mean, you could have picked LeBlanc instead of Ryze. That would have been a lot more dangerous. And also, maybe LeBlanc was banned. Don't quote me on that. And also, for the teamfight aspect of this team, you are drafting a teamfight comp that gives out scale and where the enemy team has a much stronger backline. So if that's going to be your identity, maybe no Kalista, maybe no Ryze, maybe more stuff like Ori, maybe more stuff like actual late game carries on the bot side of the map. I don't know where the whole Kalista pick came from. Yeah, a lot of homework still ahead for Teamliquid. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this local recap. I've been enjoying LCS with a different perspective. I don't expect the best games, but I try to follow what each team is doing, and it's been very interesting. Some teams have been a pleasant surprise, like Golden Guardians. So don't forget to leave a comment down below, and please do subscribe. It really does help me. And one last thing, I'm not crazy, I'm just Loco. Bye!